Cool.
All right.
Breaking news, guys. Insane footage from the Moroccan border with Spain. Thousands of migrants are gathering at the border. This is exactly what the Spanish Minister Sanchez was aiming for. Let's take a look at this. The rest of Europe is next, inshallah.
Yeah. Well, look at the BRICS news. Read it. So law enforcement seen opening gates allowing thousands of illegal immigrants into Spain.
Yeah, he's
The
dude.
rest
I
of
mean,
Europe.
like
That's what he wants
this
for the rest of
is
Europe.
basically he's calling for white. Not even basically, he blatantly is calling for white genocide here.
That's exactly
Sneako
what
is
he's
an
doing.
enemy of Western civilization. He's an enemy of the white race. He's an enemy of Christianity. Okay, this guy
He's an
needs to
enemy.
go.
Let's just be clear. He's an enemy to civilization. Okay, he's a
Yeah,
third worldist. He doesn't want nice things because white people run the nice things because they are ours. He's not white, so he doesn't want even us, him, anybody to have the nice things because he's not that. And by proxy, he sees, which is crazy to me that he would even say this because he now is seeing the things that Nick talks about. He's now seeing the mass immigration, the white replacement, the Muslims being used as the sort of frontmen for disrupting European civilization. He's now seeing this, and now he's complicit with it. Now he's saying, well, the rest of Europe. Inshallah, I hope Islam comes to every house, but not in a nice dawah way, right? Because remember at the beginning of Sneako's quote unquote ministry, he was, oh, America should be a white nation, Europe should be a white country, a white Christian country, or continent, sorry. Europe should be a white Christian continent, etc., etc. And it starts off nice, right? And he plays the Mr. Nice Guy. He tries to blend in. As soon as he flips, dude, it's like, no, I want millions of illegal Muslim, African, third world immigrants into your countries. Inshallah, God willing, that happens. And so he's an enemy to civilization. He, like you said, he's calling for a white genocide.
yeah,
He's
absolutely. This
calling for
guy.
everything our ancestors built, gave their lives for, everything our ancestors have given us on a silver platter, the greatest civilization ever that we inherited. He's calling for that to be destroyed.
And I mean, all the fruits of the Western civilization. That's what really just kills me about these kind of people. I find it interesting because Sneako, he's into film. He wants to be like a movie director and whatnot. And
Right.
it's like, what? But he shits on Western culture all the time. Like this guy, he acts like Western culture is like the spawn of Satan. Where do you think filmmaking came from? Oh, by the way, interesting. I'm gonna play this really quick.
Go
Where you
ahead.
were saying earlier about how Sneako flip flopped. This is
Yeah.
from like 2 or 3 years ago. Listen to this.
The red pill. Do you know why Japan runs smoothly? Do you know why people there respect each other and why I'm the most degenerate person walking around Japan? It's because they have a homogenous society. It's because they have extremely low immigration. It's because there's one political party. They only vote for the conservative party every year. They don't really like foreigners coming in. What is the population of Japan? Like 95% Japanese? Everybody there, you have to see it for your own eyes. That's the America that Nick Fuentes wants. Everybody dressed conservatively, everybody believing the same thing, everybody respectful. You don't need to lock your door. You're never scared of somebody robbing you. It's incredible. Like everybody's quiet on the train. There's no pollution anywhere. There's just no degenerate behavior. You walk through the park, you don't smell any weed. And a big reason why is because they have extremely low immigration. And this is a difficult thing for me to talk about because, this is the meme, like, Sneako, I'm mixed. I am. My parents, come from a Filipino and Haitian background. My dad's half European, European mutt and Haitian. My mom's from the Philippines. My mom.
European mutt and Haitian. It's funny because this clip is from 2023. This is back when he was hiding the fact that his dad is half Jewish.
Jewish, yeah.
But dude, it's so funny. Like everything he said right there, I agree with. Right, and you can tell even just by his body language and his demeanor in this clip. This is him being honest. Like this new version of Sneako, he's lying. Like he doesn't mean
No.
any of the things he said.
I'll tell you. It's not as easy as that. You're right.
Okay.
It's him being
Yeah.
honest versus him lying, but it's also him back then wanting to be accepted by whites, by Americans, and him now.
Yeah, now he wants to be accepted by Muslims.
Now he realizes he cannot ever be with us, and so now he's fully against it. And so now we have to treat him as an enemy. He is now an enemy to our people, to our cause, to our race, to our civilization as a whole. All of Europe, right? Spanning from the very east, in the north, the British Isles, and in the south, Portugal, all the way to the west, in the border of the Eurasian steppe. All of us who come from that area of the earth, he is against that. And now he is calling actively, because we have to assume for our own safety and for our own, what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. You're going to have to cut this out. But for our own safety and for our own sake, we have to assume all ill intent from this guy, because he knows that mass immigration causes problems. He knows that because if you have a different belief than somebody else, then it's going to cause societal friction. He knows this. So we have to assume default, based on what he said, complete ill intent. Because now he's advocating for all of that. Now he wants that in the countries that he feels rejected by because he doesn't fit in. He's now advocating for the very same thing 2 years ago he said would destroy a country.
Yeah. And I find it interesting because this ties back into what I was saying earlier before we watched the clip about, you're saying he's against everything Western civilization. The thing is that he's really not, though, because he wants to benefit off of all of the fruits of Western civilization, the stuff that benefits him. He's okay with that stuff, Hollywood, filmmaking, his love, his passion. That's Western culture.
Yeah.
I
mean, Hollywood's kind of Jewish, but
Yeah, Hollywood's Jewish.
No, I get it. Like theater, art,
filmmaking, and theater and art. This is European. This is Western. And that's typical of these guys. It's always these brown clowns who live in Western nations, but want to shit on the West and advocate for the death of the West. And that ties into the next clip that we have.
We got more,
which is him and Muhammad Durka Muhammad Jihad over here. Let's listen to a little
Muhammad
bit.
fucking retard.
Respect, these whites, supremacists and others, they have a primitive system.
Can you pause this real quick just before we even...
We have a primitive system.
Listen. I love when they say white supremacists because they're trying off the bat. And I'll just say this real quickly. They're trying right off the bat, as soon as they start talking, they want to paint in your head because you're fucking brainwashed, because you're an idiot goy slave who went to school. He wants to paint in your head an automatically red, evil, bad swastika image that you associate with all these different things. All these archetypes are all playing in your head at the same time. And he starts the conversation that way to put that in your head. So the rest of what he says is filtered through that context. I just want to say how evil that is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but dude, right off the jump, 7 seconds in, I already have taken issue with something he said. He said, these Western nations, these white supremacists, they have a primitive system. It's like, okay, buddy, what system do your people have that's not primitive? What, Sharia law?
Muhammad Hijab's
that's not primitive?
Mud monkey, dude. He's a mud monkey. He
the West has nothing to offer me. Oh, what about the fucking camera that you're recording your video with? What about the microphone that you do your content with? What about the internet that you're posting it on? What about the country that you're living in? This guy lives in London.
I was going to say, living in a safe London city.
Didn't he go to he went to university, he went to a prestigious university. Yeah, he went to Oxford?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is Oxford, though? What is Oxford? Oxford is the continuation of the academy, which was born in ancient Greece. It was born in Western civilization.
Yes.
That's what all universities are. They are the continuation of Plato's academy. So the West has nothing to offer you. Homie, it offered you everything. You have everything.
It gave him his entire life.
Everything.
His entire career.
You don't need to look at that. Because with all due respect, You know, like for example,
You want to speed it up?
they've been
1.5
around
maybe.
for, like superpower of America's been around for 30 or 40 years. They haven't really achieved much, and they're on a decline. They're one of
The Americans don't even. Okay.
the weakest superpowers, pound for pound.
Okay. Hold on. I hate to just keep stopping it like that, but I can't. This guy said the American Empire's only been around for like what 30 or 40 years, and they haven't. What did he say? Hold on, let me hear.
They haven't
America's been around
accomplished
30 or
much.
40 years.
They haven't accomplished much.
They're declining. They're steadily
declining.
declining, and they haven't accomplished much.
We haven't accomplished much. We were the first people to put man on the moon. Probably the greatest achievement in human history.
They haven't really achieved much, and they're on a decline. They're one of the weakest superpowers, pound for pound.
The weakest superpowers, but yet all he does is complain about how the American Empire, the
oppresses
military,
everyone.
yeah, oppresses the entire Middle East. Yeah, dude, we're in decline, buddy. Yeah.
History. The Ottoman Empire was from 1299 to 1924, and it peaked.
And did the
Wait,
Ottoman Empire? 'Cause he wants to talk about primitive systems. Did the Ottoman Empire not have a primitive system? What are we talking about?
Well, just
I would
real
love to
quickly,
debate-
if he's gonna
yeah.
if he's gonna be homosexual about this, the Ottoman Empire from 12 what to 19 what? That's what 700 years, 600 years, give or take. Dude, Orthodox Christianity had
Tell him about
an
it.
empire.
Tell him about the Byzantine Empire, please.
Yeah, the Byzantine Empire, the longest reigning empire of all time, the most successful empire of all time by every metrics, by any scholar in any field acknowledges this, was reigning as the most powerful empire in the world and in history for over 1,000 years. And it was Christian. Okay? It was Christian, not Muslim. It was a sophisticated Christian society that they felt, the Byzantines themselves, they felt that they were the inheritors of Greece, of Roman civilization. They carried that with pride. They kept the literature of the pagans. They kept the art of the pagans, the sculptures.
Yeah, and the Muslims have everything they have everything to be grateful of the Byzantines for, because almost all of their theology, their theology was developed through the things that was preserved by the Byzantine Empire, such as like Neoplatonism, and I mean just even the architecture. Look at a masjid, like an Islamic masjid.
Yeah.
It's literally just a copy paste rip off of Orthodox Christian cathedrals.
Exactly.
So,
well,
I mean,
dude, can you imagine this too? How ungrateful these bastards are. The fact that our civilizations have been clashing for over 1,200 years, right? Yeah, say that real quick, or show that real quick.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just pointing this out.
So our civilizations have been clashing for over 1,200 years. Can you imagine today if all of Europe, Christian Europe, and the United States and Canada and Australia and all these places that descend from Europe, the pan-European societies, can you imagine if we were still at war with the Muslims? We would demolish the Middle East. We would kill every single person in the Middle East overnight. We could send all of our militaries over there. It would be done in 2 seconds. They don't have anything. They have nothing.
They have nothing.
Compared
They
to
are
us.
nothing. They are nothing.
Probably somewhere around the 1400s, 1453, let's say, from the conquest of Constantinople to somewhere around the 1800s. That's a long time for a superpower like that. That's credit. That operates on the basis of Islam. America's been around as a sole superpower, about 31 years, 32 years, if you consider the fact that the Soviet Union was dissolved in that time. So it wasn't a bipolar system, it was more of a unipolar system. They're not in a position to be arrogating to the world about what works and what doesn't work. You've got
They're in no position to be arrogating to the world what works and what does not work. Homie, we in those weak 30 or 40 years that you're talking about, we absolutely dismantled the entire Middle East. And I know people are going to say, well, it's the Jews as the Zionists. Well, they did it off the back of the American Empire. And not to say that I agree with that, because I'm staunchly anti-Israel. But let's be honest here. We dismantled the Middle East in a fucking blink of an eye. Like, what is this guy talking about?
And we weren't even
They're
really
just-
trying, to be honest. Like, I don't think
No, they weren't.
we were trying.
Not at all.
I think they were trying to drag it out for the money, but like we were not trying. If we really tried Europe, Western civilization to wipe out the Middle East, it could be done overnight, and they couldn't do anything about it. They would blink and they'd be gone. Everything they ever built and loved would be gone in 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Wait, can you just note real quickly, what language What accent
English.
does Mr. Mohammed Hijab have?
He's speaking the English language, and he has an English accent, which is
Okay.
derives from the English, which is the Angles, which are the Anglo-Saxons, which are Northern Europeans. So,
Okay,
which is
just
Western
wondering.
civilization. Like everything about this guy is, dude. Look at his haircut. I mean, he's getting his beard lined up. Muslims in the Middle East don't get their beard lined up. That's white man stuff.
Yep.
It's his Western culture. His glasses, Western culture. Everything about him is Western culture. Everything. They have everything to be grateful for Western society.
They
30
cry out
years
as they
as
strike
superpower.
you.
Superpower lifespan. That's one of the youngest. And already China is overtaking. Go to China and see what China's doing. China is starting to overtake on key parameters the United States of America. They are starting to overtake technologically. They are starting to overtake infrastructurally. They are even starting to overtake in some aspects militarily. Some aspects, not obviously. Culturally, that's a weakness for them, to be honest. But that they are getting overtaken in some aspects by one country, which is China. They're not in a position to be arrogating to us, do this and that. Where does Islam fit into our paradigm? We've got the left, we've got the right. Where's Islam in this? Islam is above it and beyond it. And it can go on the floor. It's nothing. This is nothing. We break it. We smash it. We spit on it. This is nothing to us. Their primitive moralities are something we have nothing in. We're not interested in. Primitive morality of the Western world. It's primitive morality. West has excelled. The West has
Primitive morality. Dude, can I have moral for a second?
Don't you think muta marriage is moral?
Dude, can I moral for a second?
Go ahead.
And you're not gonna like this, and I'm not even really gonna like this, but can we just be honest? Like, he's talking about Western society has a primitive morality. Brother, under Sharia law, they throw gay people off of roofs.
It's true.
Okay? Like,
That
dude,
is very primitive.
It's so primitive.
Because there are other ways to go about punishing them for that.
100%.
That is,
Or dealing with them. It doesn't even have to be punishing. There's other ways about dealing with them. You know?
yeah. You could just send them. You could just send them somewhere. You could like throw them in prison or something. Like throwing them off a roof is objectively more primitive. I would agree.
Yeah.
excelled excellently in the field of science and technology. But as Carl Jung said, they are technological giants.
Why are you quoting Carl Jung?
A German.
Yeah, you're talking about the great German psychologist, who gave birth to modern psychology. Everybody wants to attribute it to Freud, but I mean, I would say most of modern psychology actually comes from the German Carl Jung.
Carl Gustav
freak.
Jung.
Western world. It's primitive morality. The West has excelled excellently in the field of science and technology. But
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, at least he can be honest there.
Carl Jung said, they are technological giants and they are moral dwarfs. So I'm sorry to say, we'll give you credit on this angle, but we'll not give you credit there. We know we're talking about this situation, even though technologically the Muslim world is not anywhere near where it should be, and it's the weakest position in seven.
Okay,
He's
so right
also
here,
he's also criticizing post-Enlightenment Western civilization, which post-Enlightenment was like a very gay, just like anti-Christian, Jewish movement. Like I think that's pretty apparent. So like,
yeah.
okay, fair. Like I would criticize that too, but that's not.
Well,
what
I
Western
take issue
civilization
with.
is.
I want to take issue with what he just said right there. He quoted Carl Jung. He said, there's technological giants, and then there's moral dwarves, right? And he's aiming that towards the American Empire, right? He's saying we have great technological advancements, but we're dwarvish in our morality. And I find it interesting because he was glazing the Chinese just a second ago. The funny thing is that the Chinese model the U.S. on technology. Like they just copy and paste all of our technological advancements. So you're glazing China about how they're going to be the strongest empire. They're already getting better than America, homie. They're modeling themselves after us with their technology because that's what's important. You want to talk? You like what? That is what's important. That is what
the Chinese are.
That is what pushes humanity further is technological advancements, not morality. Sorry for the Christian here. He's gonna take issue with that, but it's true. The technological advancements is what pushes humanity forward.
Well, I would argue,
always has.
I would argue
it was always Rome.
I would argue that there is for example, is the most moral thing to do get in like 100 choppers and just no. But do I think you should do that? Yes. Like you should get in 100 of your best choppers.
I'm gonna have to cut that. You can't say that. We're not on Rumble, dude. We're on YouTube.
Okay. How should I redo this? I can restart this.
Well, here, just let me say this.
Okay.
So back what I was saying about, dude, it's not about the morality, dude. It's about the technological advancements. That's what's important. Morality, all of modern morality comes from how brutal and barbaric the ancient world was. Why was it necessary for them to develop these forms of morality? It's because the Bronze Age caused the advancement of war, which caused people to have to come up with these moral ideas. Where did the Bronze Age come from? Where did these mass technological advancements come from? They always came from Rome. They always came from the West. It was always Rome. It was always the Western man. We own the finish line.
We do own the finish line. But guess what happens when we adopt these non-barbaric and like extreme liberal?
The invaders are at bay. That's what happens.
They're at the gates.
The
of
invaders.
Toledo.
We're looking at them. These are the enemies. These people are the enemies of the West. That needs to be taken seriously.
We need to look at them as such. Yeah, they're openly calling for they're openly hating. They're openly hating where they are residing as guests. We have been so kind as to let them reside here without them, enduring any sort of torment or trauma or anything. They get, to go to our best universities, to make millions of dollars in our country with our money, use our technology, and they're still ungrateful bastards.
Look at this clown. Notice how he has nothing to say? It's been 2 minutes and 23 seconds. He hasn't said a word. You know why? Because he has nothing to say. He's a fucking retard.
He's so ugly, too.
And Muslims need to wake up. But we'll give the West credit for what they've done in science and technology. But when it comes to morality, they have nothing to ask us. They have nothing to ask us.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can take your morality and shove it up your goat fucking ass. Fuck you. I don't care. We own the finish line. We have the technology. We put man on the moon. We created the fucking nuclear bomb.
Yes.
You understand? We created the iPhone. We have the internet. It was us. It was always us. It'll always be us. Fucking clown.
They have nothing to say to us. They have nothing to arrogate to us. They have nothing to anything to us. We don't need it. We have something greater. We have a guidebook from the creator of the heavens and the earth. Allah, the one who created the heavens and the earth, telling us how to live our lives, day-to-day lives, how to be with our wife, how to be with our husband, how to be with the mother, how to be with the father, how to be in the family, how to eat, how to drink, how to worship.
You know what's crazy to me?
We believe it.
Yeah.
Because these people are obviously all fanatics, which, whatever, that's their own thing. But what amazes me is that when you zoom out on history, our ancestors, your ancestors, my ancestors, if you descend from Europe, your ancestors, they suffered, died, bled. They underwent so much shit where they couldn't have, by the way. Or they didn't have to, rather. Not they couldn't have. But they didn't have to. They could have just retreated to the mountains and lived a peaceful life without any warfare. And, maybe they wouldn't have their country anymore, but they were still going to go to heaven at the end of the day. Right? They were still going to die in the graces of God and go to heaven. But they chose as men, as European men, to defend their land, to defend their kin, their people, their children, their future generations, us. And it's all slipping through our hands moment by moment, day by day. And we're not doing anything about it. We just watch it happen. Oh yeah, we just watch 50,000 North Africans pour into Spain in one day.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Do you know how crazy, I want you to think about that, seriously. You know how crazy that is? Our ancestors died so that wouldn't happen. And it's just happening every day. It's really fucked up, man.
Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up.
No. Show them there was one more. Hold on.
Oh, I did have one more thing. Hold on.
Show them the Nick one, too. That one's important.
But look at this one. Are you still looking at my screen share?
Yeah,
So this was a tweet by Israel Foreign Ministry. To the Kingdom of Morocco, its leadership and its people, we extend our warmest congratulations on the occasion of the glorious throne day. Sincerely, Israel. And I find it so interesting that they tweeted this out like on the day that Morocco invaded Spain.
See, okay, somebody's based in Red Pill. They said, "Go down, Mister." The comments.
You're opening the gates of Toledo.
Yeah.
Yet again, I see.
But this is the thing. Like, obviously, I'm not going to say anything crazy that'll get us banned. But like, we understand what's going on here. Like, if you have above a room temperature IQ, like, you understand the problem, who is the problem, why they're the problem, and what has to happen. I'm not saying anything bad, obviously, but we have to start getting a consciousness. We have to start stop on this for a second. But we have to start. Why has it been happening since I was a child? Whose agenda? Bradley Martin. But we have to start getting a consciousness. We have to stop being goyim. While you go out and you go to your sporting event, while you go out and you go watch your movie, while you go out and drink with your friends and go to the club and do this and that and focus on all of this nonsense that doesn't matter because your kids are going to grow up in a country where they're the only white European descendant child on a block for 10 miles, and it's all going to be Indians and Africans, and they're going to be discriminated against. Right? When our people are 10, 20, 30% of the population, you don't think that these people who already hate us are going to discriminate against us and our children? You don't think that's going to happen? But no, you don't care. You're out going, listening to some concert, some rapper who's like a 30 IQ retard. Like, we have to start getting a consciousness. We have to start doing
We have to start being serious. We have to get serious.
When are we going to get serious?
All right, so Nick Fuentes, he tweeted this out today. He said, once again, we find ourselves at war against all of the Muslims in the Middle East while simultaneously letting them invade Europe through the back door. The great European and Muslim nations are destroying each other through war and immigration. Meanwhile, Israel rises.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody understands that. You think America is going to be a superpower forever, yet no American cares about anything other than 2 seconds of joy and the next dopamine hit? No. You have countries like Israel that are homogenous, completely lock down the border. There's no immigration into Israel, essentially, at least compared to everywhere else in the West. And there's like a right-wing, what would you call them? Nationalist, right-wing, what are some other terms for their government? Like, of course Israel's going to be on the up and up while we just fall apart. Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's sad, dude. It's sad. I hate to admit it. I hate to see it. It is that image. Play that. Go over that video real quick.
It's not really a video, but yeah.
I mean, it's still, even that image, like, that is... What are we doing, man?
I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach, to be quite honest with you. I really don't like seeing stuff like this. But, I mean, you can't allow it to demoralize you, because that's really what they want. They want to demoralize you. They want to strip you of your Faustian spirit. So this guy says, yeah, you need to deport Sneako. You know, when they first started, because Deport Sneako went viral on Twitter, and Nick even started selling a shirt that said Deport Sneako. When it first popped up, I thought it was funny. But in the back of my head, I was like, no, I don't actually think he should be deported. Because, you know, he was born in America, you know that. So deporting an American citizen for using his constitutional right of freedom of speech, I'm against that, but I thought it was funny. But now that I've looked at all this, no, I'm anti-constitutional at this point. I do think we should invoke his constitutional right of freedom of speech and get him out of the country. Like, I don't even know if I'm pro free speech anymore.
Well, can I red pill you real quickly on the podcast, like live?
Yeah, please.
You need to get hip to what an American even is. An American.
Well, I mean, I know what it is, to be honest with you. It's a pan-European empire, is what it is.
If you don't genetically cluster with European and can't assimilate, so both of those things, you're not American. If you have both of those things, you can do both of those things. Well, you can have one of them and do the other. Then you're American. But if you're somebody like Sneako, you're not. You can't be an American. This is not a place for you. This is not your home. You are
I agree.
either a temporary visitor or a foreigner who is subverting the population.
Yeah, just as much as Mohammed Hijab is not British. I don't care if he speaks
100%.
English. He was born in London and raised in London and went to Oxford. I don't care. He's not British. He
Well, dude,
will
that's
forever.
that's the thing. It's easier in people's minds. It's easier to say that because they see British as an ethnicity. The problem is that people don't see American as an ethnicity because our history is so short. Whereas I think in part of this podcast, what we're going to do is open up your guys' minds to what an American ethnicity looks like. Okay? It is a pan-European peoples. In 500 years, 1,000 years, when you take a DNA test, it should be able to say 80% American, 90% American, 100% American. It's going to be an ethnicity. What is it going to be? It's going to be a genetic cluster of people who are of majority, supermajority European descent mixing together, and that's what we are. That's the American ethnicity, the ethnogenesis of Americans.
Look at this.
So just to red pill you on that, I think that's important to learn. Because you got to be able to tell people that when they ask. Is that, what was he doing? Just
He's breaking into somebody's home in Spain. This is a Moroccan.
see
immigrant.
if you now. Okay, this gets me really mad, and I'm going to be careful with my words here. But you should theoretically be able to, like, get rid of those people in a not so dirty or unclean manner, so they're never a threat again. Like, you should be able to do that. By the way, like that's.
Yeah, you should. We're not gonna be able to put that in the pod though. You gotta be really careful about that type of stuff.
What can I not say? What can I? I can't say.
I don't think you could discuss that at all on YouTube. To be honest, that type of rhetoric.
We got to think.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. We have to be careful. We have to strategize. We can't go full Wignat, dude. We have to strategize. It has to be through the arts. We have to sway the minds of the masses, of the white man. It's the only way. Let's let the Wignats call for the violence, call for the violent revolution.
Can we can you, when you clip this, can you start by saying that, please?
Saying what?
Through the arts. I think that's a beautiful way to end it. What you
Yeah,
just said
okay.
about non-violent. We need to. You know what? We need to reach people because. Okay, ready? Because people are the culmination of thousands of years of DNA and genetics. And even, if you look into epigenetics and what's coming out of that research space, there is about 70 to 80 years of brainwashing. But we still have the DNA of thousands and thousands of years, okay? So 80 years of brainwashing, no matter how good MKUltra got, okay? No matter how good any of these CIA mind brainwashing systems got, it is impossible for it to completely overtake your genetics. So people are in there. People and their sensibility and their even the most brainwashed liberals who hate themselves for being European, white, whatever, right? These people, these types that are uber mentally ill, brainwashed, even they have the epigenetics of 1,000+ years. And so I think we can bring that back. And like you said about the art thing, if you want to go ahead and talk about that for a second. Because I think that's the best thing you've ever said.
Yeah, what exactly did I say? I kind of forgot.
Dude, you're gonna have to cut all this.
Listen, man. Here, I'll try to sum it up. Basically, whenever you look at all the white guilt, right? The white people who hate themselves for being white, they're very apologetic for being white. They're kissing the boots of black people during BLM. White people were not convinced to hate themselves through politics. No politician, no president, no congressman, no politician at all convinced them of that. They got brainwashed into that ideology through the art gallery, and not literally the art gallery. I'm using that like allegorically.
Right.
Through the arts, through Hollywood, through rap music, through media, through the medium of art. That's how they were convinced to hate themselves. And so that's where the real war is being fought. It's being fought through the arts. So this is how we win. This is how we take back. You know, I agree with Fuentes when he talks about how the only way to win is to just become excellent and infiltrate the institutions. I agree, but he's focused on infiltrating the political institutions. What I want to do is inspire people to infiltrate the art institutions, become content creators, learn to clip, make pro-West, pro-white edits on TikTok. The people love the edits. That's the culture now. Become content creators, become interviewers, become YouTubers, become filmmakers, and hide your power level, but make good art to show the beauty of Western civilization, to show beauty of Europa
And
and our
it's
people.
because art touches the soul, right?
Absolutely.
This is like the red pill.
It's the form of
art.
beauty.
It touches it because it transcends the physical eyes. Like it does something and it grabs your soul, and so you can really get somebody to turn and start to think differently and rewire their brain literally through art, through propaganda, right? Because that's all it is, propaganda. It's not propaganda isn't bad or anything. And I would also say though, everything you just said was amazing, but I would also add, I think education is another important part because, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, is that our people, everybody, but like specifically our people, that's all I really care about, are not very smart. Okay, if you go to the average person, they're very undereducated, and particularly in history. And if they do know about history, it's some tainted version and they still hate themselves because they're taught to. And so I think of an important thing to do is to teach people history because, and this is in the Kalergi plan, the elites have talked about this a lot, is that their goal, right, ultimately, what they would love to see, the people, the tiny hats, they would like to see mass immigration into Europe. And then eventually it's so destabilized and so mixed that you have essentially a bunch of sneakos, right? People who are no more than 30% of anything. And once you have this, you have an identity crisis. Because you're not tied to anything historically, your personal identity doesn't exist. And now what happens? The government gives you your identity. Now you're just a slave. Now you're just another number. You're not tied to anything important. There's nothing about you that's unique. You're just like everybody else, right? The whole worker bee idea, archetype. And so teaching people about their history, learn about the Reconquista, learn about the battles between the Romans and the Goths, learn about the battles between Vlad Dracula, the Impaler, and the Ottomans. Learn about Saint Stephen of Moldavia, right? Learn about these things. Learn about your history, and specifically learn about your own particular history because that will make you feel proud. But then obviously learn about history in general. It's always good to be educated. And so I think that's another very critical point to hit people on is they need to know where they come from. They need to have an image painted in their head that they are not just here. They didn't just come here out of nowhere and they were just plopped on. Like, no, you have thousands of years of ancestors who did probably incredible things for you to be here. And you need to learn that. That's all I got.
Absolutely. Very well said. I think that's a good spot to wrap up.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. How long have we been going? Do you know? Were you keeping track or no?
It's been at least 40 minutes.
That's pretty good. That's not bad. All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Like, subscribe.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.